can you just talk to me more broadly about hydropower, and then more specifically what may be causing DOE, and maybe it's OMB?
The exchange between Lisa Murkowski and Energy Secretary Chris Wright over proposed cuts to hydroelectric funding in the Department of Energy budget highlights a deeper tension in U.S. energy policy, one that sits at the intersection of fiscal restraint, regional dependence, and long-term energy strategy. Stick with me till the very end. You won't want to miss what happens next. It might surprise you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good to see you, Mr. Secretary. So many good things to talk about on the energy front in Alaska, and so thank you for your leadership and really leaning in so much of this. I wanted to start my questions first with an area that oftentimes just doesn't get talked about enough, and yet in Alaska, when it comes to meeting our energy needs, hydropower is there. It's the steady Eddie, man. It just keeps plugging away, and we've got more potential to do with it. But in looking at the budget, hydropower funding reduced by 78%. So I want to talk to you just a little bit about where hydropower fits into kind of DOE's proposals. I'm going to give you some specifics about some 247 hydropower incentives that were in place back September of '24. They got all the materials. 18 months have passed, and we're still waiting for funds to be released for a Salmon Creek project, Cooper Lake, Green Lake, SEPA grid resiliency. These are, as you know, in this area, core infrastructure projects in communities that rely significantly on hydropower. So can you just talk to me more broadly about hydropower, and then more specifically what may be causing DOE, and maybe it's OMB, to hold up some of these already awarded hydropower funds?
So, number one, on the budget, Senator, there isn't the dramatic cut it looks like. It's just different categorizations. We have a new category now, baseload power, you know, and that's a big line item. That's gas, coal, hydro, and nuclear. And so there's hundreds of millions of dollars of hydro funding in there.
Do we need to make sure that it's to hydro, and hydro doesn't get eclipsed by the oil, the gas, the coal? That's my concern. I just want to make sure hydro is not kind of pushed down to the bottom here.
I totally agree. You know, we do almost no funding for oil. Oil doesn't need funding. There's some research in that, but it's not there. Gas is mostly commercially developed. Our baseload funding is really focused on hydro, coal, and nuclear, because those are ones where we can move the needle with the funding budgets we have. We not just me, but our department is passionate about hydro. Audrey Robertson, who I'm sure you met here before, she is constantly engaging with hydro developers everywhere. Why are these dams going to come down? You know, oh, we're afraid to re-permit them. It's too expensive. It's too long. How can we help you? We need to get that going.
We've got some good legislation to that, by the way.
Exactly. We need to work together on that. I think hydrogen has hydro has lost champions. You talk about hydropower, but very few people do. And I agree with you. Hydropower is critical resource, particularly in remote areas. Think of all the water flowing in Alaska. There's upside to that. We're looking at repowering. How can you take a little 40 megawatt hydro thing and make it into a 50 megawatt hydro thing with just fixing or upgrading the turbines? Heck, part of the dialogues we had in Venezuela is they get these huge hydro assets, but the machines are broken. It's like the existing infrastructure is there. We can get more power out of it. So I agree with you. Hydro is important. Let's follow up on those specific projects you mentioned, because if there's stuff we can do to help hydro, we're all in on it.
What we really need is just a clear timeline on when these funds can be released, so that they don't miss these upcoming construction season. As you mentioned, costs are just going up and up. So if we can work with you on that. So we'll follow up after this hearing.
Absolutely. And I got my much smarter and more competent team is sitting behind me. So we got to get right on that.
And then in my remaining time, let's talk about Alaska LNG. Obviously, with all that's going on in Iran, everyone is looking to where there are further opportunities for U.S.-based LNG. We have extraordinary potential up north. As you know, you've spent much time there. Where do you place the Alaska LNG project right now in terms of domestic priorities for advancement?
Oh, for energy infrastructure, I would say number one. Number one. This is a gigantic project that, as you know, transforms the state of Alaska. Just because where people live in South Central Alaska, we've got an energy problem. Although we've got abundant resources nearby, and it's awesome for U.S. allies in Asia. It's a short run to all of major LNG consumers in East Asia there.
No choke point.
No choke point. I mean, this is really a multi-generational, massive America and ally improving infrastructure project that we are. Not a week goes by that I don't have multiple meetings or dialogues about it. It has proven tricky. I wish we were up there right now breaking ground. And the problem is the pipeline's hard to finance, and you got to build the pipeline first. The LNG export terminal is not hard to finance, but we can't finance that without financing the pipeline. So we are just working every avenues we can, but a growing amount of our team is on it. It's important for our country. It's critical for Alaska. We will not rest until we have that project completed.
Thank you. Thank you for that commitment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator.
The core of Murkowski's argument is a very practical concern. Hydroelectric power isn't just another line item in Alaska. It's foundational infrastructure. For many communities, particularly in remote and rural areas, hydropower represents one of the most stable, cost-effective, and reliable sources of electricity. Unlike intermittent renewables such as wind or solar, hydro offers baseload power, meaning it can run continuously and provide grid stability. So, when funding cuts are proposed, Murkowski isn't just reacting politically. She's signaling a real-world risk to energy security in her state. From a policy standpoint, her questioning likely aimed to force clarity. What is the administration's strategic logic? Are these cuts part of a broader reallocation toward newer renewable technologies? Or are they simply cost-cutting measures without a clear replacement plan? Because if it's the latter, the concern becomes sharper. Cutting investment in existing, functioning clean energy systems without a viable transition path could create gaps in reliability and affordability. Chris Wright, on the other hand, is operating within a different set of constraints. As Energy Secretary, he has to balance competing priorities: modernizing the grid, investing in emerging technologies like battery storage and hydrogen, and aligning with broader climate goals. From that perspective, hydroelectric funding might be seen as mature infrastructure that requires less federal subsidy compared to newer, rapidly evolving sectors. But that assumption doesn't always hold up, especially when you consider aging dams, maintenance costs, and the need for upgrades to meet modern environmental and efficiency standards. This is where the exchange becomes more than just a budget dispute. It becomes a debate over how we define energy transition. Is it about replacing old systems with new ones? Or is it about optimizing and sustaining what already works while gradually integrating innovation? Murkowski is clearly advocating for the latter, emphasizing continuity and reliability. Wright appears to be leaning toward a forward-looking investment strategy, though the specifics matter enormously. Another layer here is regional equity. Energy policy in the U.S. often has uneven impacts because different states rely on different energy mixes. What might seem like a marginal cut at the federal level can have outsized consequences locally. Alaska, with its unique geography and infrastructure challenges, is particularly sensitive to shifts in federal energy support. Murkowski's pushback reflects that reality. She's not just debating policy in abstract terms. She's defending a system that directly affects her constituents' cost of living and economic stability. There's also a broader political signal in this moment. Bipartisan support for hydropower has historically been strong because it sits at the intersection of clean energy and reliability. If funding for hydro starts to erode, it could indicate a shift in how policymakers prioritize different energy sources within the clean energy spectrum. That, in turn, could reshape investment patterns and influence how states plan their energy futures. Ultimately, what this exchange underscores is the complexity of energy budgeting. It's not just about dollars, it's about trade-offs. Every cut or increase sends a signal about priorities, and those signals ripple through infrastructure, markets, and communities. Murkowski is pressing for reassurance that hydroelectric power won't be sidelined in the push toward newer technologies. Wright, meanwhile, has to articulate how the administration can pursue innovation without undermining reliability. The real test will be whether those two positions can be reconciled, because in energy policy, the most effective strategies are rarely about choosing one path over another. They're about integrating multiple approaches into a system that is both resilient and forward-looking.
Thanks for watching this video all the way through. I really appreciate it. If you found it helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop a like.